Share my screen.
And I would like to introduce you.
Yeah, go ahead while I get the
Okay,
PowerPoint.
so our speaker today is Pitia Abdul Rahat. She is branding marketing strategist and principal of the Stylista Group. She holds MBA in marketing management from the Leuven School of Business at Pace University and also BA in management marketing from Siemens College. In the beginning of 2020, Pitia joined the Grow with Google speaker team, a fantastic group of digital agency owners handpicked by Google to work with their partner organization across the country to provide resources and education on Google's suites of products and services. And welcome our speaker, PT Abdul Razak.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. What a warm welcome. Okay, somebody, I'm going to admit this person, whoever they are. All right, so good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning, and hopefully you will be joining us again over the next 4 weeks. We actually have 5 sessions together because there's a lot that we can cover together, and hopefully I can answer all of your questions. Like Galina said, this series is brought to you by the Harrison Library, of course, in collaboration with the American Library Association, Public Library Association, and sponsored by Grow with Google. It's my sincerest hope, given this challenging time, that you and your friends and family have, managed to remain safe. And hopefully that you are using this time to update your skills, because I like to think forward. And I'm hoping that in the not so distant future, we will be past this phase and we get back to business as usual. And we all need to be up to speed then so that we can recover from whatever setbacks that we have. Before we get started, I wanted to share some information with you on the Grow with Google program. And Grow with Google is a program, a free program by Google, that helps people across the United States to grow their skills, careers, and businesses by offering free tools and training events. And if you're interested, you can find out more on the program, as well as access lots of great free digital resources by going online at google.com/grow. During today's presentation, what I'll do is I'll start off with a holistic view of what a robust digital marketing presence looks like. And then in the second section, we'll take a deep dive into Google My Business, which by all means, especially if you have a business where people come to your location, everyone should have a completely filled out Google My Business profile. You will be receiving a copy of today's presentation, and should you have any questions when you review it, please do not hesitate to shoot me an email, and you'll have my contact information on the slide right there that you're seeing. Some people like to take a picture, but you don't have to, because you'll have it when Galina sends it to you. And you can also feel free to stay connected with me on social media, and my handle on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is @Stylista Group. So like I said, the presentation will have 2 sections. We're going to start off with me laying a groundwork by reviewing exactly what it means to have a digital presence, because I find that particularly small business owners tend to just think, well, if I have a great Facebook page, I'll be okay. Or if my website is great, I'll be okay. Or if I'm only doing blogging, I'll be okay. And actually, for all of this to work, you have to do a little bit of everything. And they all have to be cohesive in terms of messaging, calls to action, so that together they work for you. So we're going to start off with an overview of the importance of having a digital presence, like why do you need to do this anyway? Then we're going to take a look at email marketing. Many people seem to think today that email marketing is a waste of time, and I can understand why, because we're all inundated with messages in our inbox 24/7. But from a business perspective, it still has the highest return on investment of all digital marketing services, and I'll actually show you some stats that prove that and give you some tips for doing it the right way, because many times I feel like the problem is that folks aren't doing email marketing the right way, and so that's why we're spammed constantly. And then we'll take an overview, really high-level overview of social media, and then I'll move on to the Grow My Business, Google My Business profile, sorry. Okay, my mouse is acting up. Okay, so let's keep it going. That was the agenda. Okay. So let's start off by talking about why it's important to establish and maintain a strong digital presence. Okay, so why are we doing this? Especially as strong business owners, it is very, very important that whatever resources you allocate, you're doing so and spending your time on activities that will actually bring some sort of return and investment, even if it takes a while to do so. You just don't want to be spinning your wheels. Okay, so first off, let's define exactly what is meant when someone says a digital presence. It's actually pretty simple. You should have a strong presence online, digital, because today's customers are online for the most part. And more, they're turning to the internet to find solutions to their problems. So whether you sell products or services, it's kind of a knee-jerk or gut reaction for somebody to go online and put in a search in Google when they're thinking of solving a problem. When people are searching online, they will want to learn who, what, where, why, and when you can solve their problem, okay? So your who would be who you are, or what does your business do? What's your name? Okay, what is your business story? A lot of technology is an amazing thing, but we're still human beings and we're still looking to make human connections. So if you have a great business story, that should definitely be told on your digital presence. What? So the what questions would be, what does your business do? What solutions do you offer? What problems do you solve? Where? Of course, self-explanatory. Where are you located? Do you have more than one location? What's the address? Are you based primarily online, or are you online as well as offline? Okay. When are you open? Are you closed for holidays? Are you available 24/7? Right? Are you a seasonal business? And the why, of course, is why do you do what you do? Why is it important to you? And ultimately, why is it important to your potential customers that you're providing this service or selling this product? Okay. So a strong, clear, cohesive digital presence should answer all of these questions so that when that online customer visits your store or calls you for a consultation, they're already sort of pre-qualified and they know enough about your business to feel like you are a step in the right direction. Okay? And then over time, of course, once you're sharing this information and being engaging, all of this information and activity ultimately converts into sales. Okay. So, so that is the why you're there, right? But a strong digital presence is more than just visibility for your business, right? It is also your opportunity to have real-time conversations with prospects and sometimes actual customers who may want to engage with you. So a good digital presence will boost your brand recognition. So if you're a new business, having a robust digital presence will help people to get to know who you are. It should also help you to reach potential customers. It should help you to engage with your existing customers. And this is an amazing way for your business to be open 24/7. So even when you're sleeping, if you have a great website or great social media profiles, your potential customers are still able to find you by going online. Like I said earlier, behind all of this great technology, we still have people. Let me go back one slide. And so having conversations with your potential customers is an excellent way for them to make a connection with you. So there's an old adage that says people tend to prefer to do business with other people that they like, and that is still very true. So I know you guys can probably relate to going online and seeing an amazing website and the social media is great. And then when you finally interact with the people who work for this business. And many times it's not the owner. Many times it could be the employees, because the owner is not, automatically interacting with the new customers. And then the attitude of that person completely turns you off. And so, the wonderful digital online presence at that point doesn't really mean anything, because the actual human connection didn't tie in. So you want to be careful, especially if you're going to be having someone else other than yourself be in charge of your digital presence, to really train them in the way that you would like questions to be answered, in the way that you want the story of your business to be told, and explain that aside from this being a visible representation of your business, it's also a customer service tool, and it's an extension of your brand story. So very, very, very important that not only you as a business owner is aware of how you should be interacting on your digital presences, but your employees should be doing this as well. And so these are some of the things that I think should be happening. You should be having conversations, answering questions in real time. That's where the customer service piece comes in, telling the story of your business. And if you do all of this over time, you will build trust and real relationships with your current and potential customers. Okay, so here are some tips for creating a digital presence. So you know what you have to do in terms of content and the way the brand should be represented, but then there's also the technical aspect of it. So if you are having a web developer to design your website for you, you should, by all means, by now, I don't think anyone should be designing a website for anybody that's not mobile, responsive, and friendly. The majority of online traffic is happening on mobile devices, and I'm sure that you all can attest to this from your personal situations, right? So you will have your web developer program your website to automatically adjust itself to function best on all devices, whether it be a computer or a tablet. Make sure that the website is designed with the user experience in mind. So people don't have that much time anymore to be searching for links and following different paths. And so you should absolutely have it tested by, if you have, a customer that you absolutely like, or a friend who, understands user experience, that's what UX stands for, then definitely you should be making sure that the customer doesn't have to do too much work to find the information that they're looking for. Okay, you definitely also want to make sure that you are on the social media platforms that your potential customers are active on. And so when we get to the social media part, you'll see that there are way more social media platforms that we even talk about on a day-to-day basis. But at the end of the day, if your customers are only on Instagram, then the good news is that you only need to focus on Instagram. If they're on Instagram and Facebook, then only Instagram and Facebook. It is really not a good idea, and I see a lot of small businesses doing this, to set up 6 social media profiles and then not have them be managed the way that they should be. And because this is a time-consuming pursuit, even if you need to be on 6 social media profiles, I highly recommend that what you do is that you set up the initial amount of profiles that you think that you can actually handle. So then if you can only handle 2 profiles, start off with 2 profiles and then move on. And when you're able to expand, then at that point you can choose to add additional profiles. Okay, so this speaks to look and feel and doing a good job of choosing your digital presence based on where your particular customers are. Okay, so content is king on social media, because once your customers find you, you need to make sure that you're grabbing their interest within 5 seconds. Okay, if you do not grab a potential customer's interest within 5 seconds, you lose them to someone else. So the first thing is, but you need to do is provide useful, valuable information. Okay, so you can do this by creating a blog, a resources section. Galina did a really good job of showing you guys where all the resources for the library are, right? So chances are you're going to go back on your own time and see what they're offering that could be useful to you. So that was a great demonstration. We didn't talk about this, but that was a great demonstration of that. Research keywords and phrases that your customers would use to find you online. And so, for example, if you have, say, a spa or a beauty salon, then clearly manicure, pedicures are things that you would want to have embedded in the content of your website. Someone in the beginning said that they provide IT services. So you wouldn't just say, I provide IT services, but you would be very specific in terms of the kinds of IT services that you provide. Do you provide managed services? Are you a Microsoft partner? Do you help businesses move to the cloud? Really specific, so that when somebody goes and types, I need an IT person. Oh, sorry, my computer is very sensitive. I need an IT person who can help me move my data to the cloud. You should have those keywords or phrases embedded into your site so that you have a good chance of coming up in our organic searches. Using Google Analytics. Google Analytics is a free tool provided by Google that allows you to measure and get insights into the traffic of your website. So you can see exactly where the traffic is coming from. So if you're set up on social media, you can see if social media is doing the job of pushing traffic to your website. And by the way, that should be one of the main goals of your social media presence, to send people to your website, because on your website, you can have a hub of really valuable information. So Google Analytics, again, it's a free tool and it gives you demographics information. You can see exactly what pages people are viewing, if they're bouncing off of the site, what they're engaging in, what your conversion rate is. And so conversions could be anything from making a purchase or booking an appointment. So you're able to see exactly how your digital presences are working together to help you to achieve your business goals. And then, of course, setting up a Google My Business profile, which I won't explain at this point because the entire second half of the presentation is going to be on setting up your Google My Business profile, reaching your customers online. Okay, so at this point, I would like to speak a little bit about email marketing, because unfortunately, I feel like many times email marketing is tossed aside as something that no one should do anymore or no one pays attention to, but that is actually far from the case. And so what you should be doing on your website, everyone should have a subscribe to my newsletter or sign up for updates box. On your social media, you can also promote your email list, so that should also be a goal. And then hopefully, if you've been in business for a while, you have been actively collecting email addresses from your customers so that you can send them periodic updates. All right, so let's keep going. So worldwide, the number of email users currently sits at about 2.5 billion and is steadily increasing. So it's estimated that within the next couple of months, I would say end of 2020, email usage will be about 2.8 billion. Okay. And again, it can seem like a waste of time. However, opt-in permission-based emails are the ones that actually convert. When I say permission-based, it means that somebody actually went to your website and signed themselves up for your newsletter. A current customer, that's considered implied permission, because this is somebody who has done business with you. And especially if they're a repeat customer, those customers are worth their weight in gold, because not only do they return and do business with you, but they also refer additional business to you. So you definitely want to, even if an update is not applicable to them, you would definitely want them to know what you're doing so that they can share with a friend. And repeat customers usually are the main people who spread word of mouth about your business. Okay, so so just to go through the bullet points, I want to make sure that I'm covering all of it. So we talked about highest return on investment, allows you to connect to all your marketing channels, allows you to customize and personalize your messages. So the correct way to be doing your email marketing is really for you to be segmenting your list. And if you guys are wondering why I'm looking that way, it's because I have two screens. So you guys are seeing my second screen. So I'm just referring to make sure I'm covering everything that you're saying. I know sometimes you're like, what is she looking at? Okay, so the correct way to do email marketing is for you to segment your customer list. So most people, when they start by just dumping everyone into a general email list. And actually, let me back up a bit. When I'm speaking about email marketing, I'm not talking about sending mass emails through either your company email or your Gmail or your Hotmail or whatever you use for your business. I'm talking about subscribing to an email marketing provider such as MailChimp or Constant Contact, and I mentioned them a few slides down, and having branded email templates developed. And both of those programs are very user friendly. You can put them together yourself just by adding logos, using one of the templates that the program comes with, and just adding your logos and company colors, and it looks really nice. Or you can also have whoever does your website develop some custom templates for you. So that's what I'm talking to when that's what I'm referring to when I say email marketing, not just sending BCC emails to your customers. That's not email marketing. I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page. Okay, so you should be segmenting your customer list based on the services you provide or the products that you sell, or your oldest customers compared to your newest customers. Whatever makes sense. You're the business owner, so you would know the segments of customers that you have. And this is important because you never want to inundate, which is why I think many people get turned off with email marketing. You never want to inundate your prospects or customers with information that's not relevant for them. So if you're doing a first-time customer discount, it makes no sense to send that to the customer who's been purchasing from you for the last 5 years, because it doesn't apply to them and you're just cluttering their inbox. Email marketing also allows you to personalize your messages so that instead of just getting a BCC email, it'll say, Dear Patia or Dear Galina. It's a much more human sort of communication. And lastly, using an email service provider allows you to automate. And everyone should have a very basic, simple email automation campaign that's always running. And so there are two basic ones that I usually recommend for a small business. Your new subscriber automation. And when I'm saying automation, it's a series of emails that you line up to go out automatically when someone joins your mailing list or when someone does something specific on your website. So it's a lot of work, or more work, I should say, on the front end, because you have to think about what the content will be for these series of emails, how far apart are they going to be sent. But the value in all this is that once you hit activate on that automation, it works for you forever. So it works for you until you shut it off. So for example, the new subscriber campaign that you would put on your website, somebody signs up and then they get a welcome to our newsletter. You can expect to receive XYZ information, and then maybe a week later they get the second segment in the series, and that can be an explanation of the services that you provide, preferably in video format if you can, because video, as we know, is a lot more engaging than just text or pictures. And then maybe a week after that, they get another email, this time maybe with a customer testimonial saying, I've used this company. They helped me move my information to the cloud. I keep using the IT example mainly because I'm a little familiar with that. My husband owns an IT company. I was having this problem with my QuickBooks on premise, and they helped me move it to the cloud, and now I don't have to worry about losing data or whatever. And then a week later, I wouldn't recommend that it's too long. For a new subscriber automation, I would say 3 to 5 emails is good enough. But just think of that. That's 3 to 5 weeks worth of automated messages that a new subscriber will get to get to know you better. And then another kind of service industry that this works really well for, say you had a spa or a beauty salon or something like that. When you're collecting your new customers' data, always ask for anniversary or birth dates. And so that autoresponder would send a special gift or a discount around that person's anniversary or birthday without you having to do anything, because the program will recognize it. And so I had a birthday this past weekend and I got like 10 happy birthday, Patia, right? Here is your 15% discount on XYZ. And even though I know what's going on because I'm a marketer myself, it kind of made me feel special that I was, getting all of these special birthday offers. So just some things for you guys to think about in terms of how you should be using email marketing. So this is a graphic that I love to share that actually shows how much more of a return in your investment you get. With email marketing, the key is for you to be doing it right. So not overly sending emails every single day, making sure that the emails are targeted and sent to the specific segments of your list, and that you're sharing the right kind of information. So compared to, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 digital marketing tactics. Email marketing by far has the highest return on investment for every dollar spent. So if for every dollar spent on email marketing, over time you can expect to get $40 back in revenue compared to catalogs, search engine optimization, internet display, mobile, keyword ads, and banner ads. And this number, you guys, so I've been doing marketing for about 20 something years. I don't know where the time goes, but this number has been consistent for the last 20 years. In fact, it's gone up. When, there was a time when we were saying like $35 and it went to 37, now it's at 40. So the rest of these tactics have a really long way to go before they can catch up with email marketing. So hopefully I've convinced you, if you have felt in the past that you should not be doing email marketing, that you should at least try. And these are the two email marketing service providers that most small businesses tend to use. The first one is Constant Contact, and they offer a 30-day trial, and the price for a starting account, which is usually 0 to 500 contacts, ranges from $20 to $45 a month. And then there's MailChimp, which is sometimes the more popular choice. And the reason being that the service is free to use up to 2,000 subscribers. So either or, they both pretty much do the same thing, give you great analytics. They also both integrate with Google Analytics so that you can also see whether your email marketing campaigns are having a direct connection to the traffic on the website. All right, let's keep going. So now we're going to talk about social media and how that ties in with an overall presence. And I like to start off by doing some quick screenshots of the top social media platforms. And I will say, be honest, that most of them I have never been on myself. But I think that it's important for us all to be aware that it's not only about Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter and Instagram. They are other social media networks, and some of them are more geography focused. Others are more industry focused, that are experiencing a huge amount of traffic. And so these are the top ones. Of course, Facebook is at the top with 2.45 billion users and growing every day. So on the first slide, the ones that you will recognize would be Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and possibly Instagram, maybe WeChat. And then there's QQ. I have never been on QQ, but it's been growing over the years. Then we have Qzone, TikTok. If you have young people around you, you should know TikTok. Reddit, that's been around for a while. Twitter has been around for a while. LinkedIn. Snapchat, again, if you have young people in your life, you'd be familiar with Snapchat. Viber, for communicating with people overseas. I have some foreign relatives that we use Viber a lot, but now we've changed to WhatsApp. Pinterest, of course, has been around for a while, and Discord. So I just, general information, because I think we kind of have like tunnel vision and we think about, oh, Facebook and whatever, but there actually is actually a lot more going on outside of the everyday tools that we use. Okay, so just to take a deeper look of the ones that are the most popular in the US as in any case. So LinkedIn has become one of the most engaging social networks for B2B businesses. And so when I say B2B, I mean these are businesses who don't sell products, but sell services. So for example, my business, I sell marketing services, IT services, somebody who's a counselor. So we don't have tangible products that we sell. However, we sell our services either to other companies or to other companies like ourselves, small business owners. For me, a lot of times I'm working with marketing directors who need help with special projects. And so the platform is already capable of generating 3 times more conversion if you have a B2B business, a service business, than other social media platforms. So you know how in the beginning I said with the overall digital marketing presence that you should really pay attention to where your target audience is. And so if you have a B2B business, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have presences on Facebook or Twitter or anywhere else, but chances are in terms of return on investment, LinkedIn is probably where you're going to get the best bang for your buck. Not only buck in terms of money, but the time spent and the resources allocated. So I would definitely make LinkedIn a focus for a B2B business. My mouse is acting up again. Give me a second. Okay, Facebook. Facebook is all about community. And you know, the key to using Facebook effectively, I like to say that it's twofold. First, you should really focus on setting up a page that's engaging and attractive. And the next 2 sessions are actually going to be focused on Facebook. The first half is just going to be best practices and examples of great Facebook pages. And then the second segment is going to be a step-by-step guide as to how you actually set up a great Facebook page. So the first part is making sure that your Facebook presence is engaging and attractive. And then once you get comfortable with that, it's no longer a choice. So many people didn't like this and they just had to get over it. But to really experience the potential or the payback from Facebook, you have to run targeted ad campaigns to reach your potential customers. And I will say, comparatively speaking, you do spend less on Facebook advertising that you would spend doing a newspaper ad or a billboard ad or any sort of traditional marketing. And the value is that you're able to very narrowly target who you want to receive your marketing message. So if you wanted, you know, your ads to only be in front of women in their 40s who have pink hair and live in specific zip codes, and of course I'm being ridiculous, but literally you can get that narrowly with your target, that narrow with your targeting. And so that is the payback or the return in investment for engaging with Facebook advertising. But that comes later. That's step 2. The first step would be to set up a page that has all of the content that you needed to have, that it's set up with the correct sections based on the kind of business that you have. And then once you get comfortable with that, then you would have to move on to Facebook ads. Okay, Instagram. I like to think of Instagram as the visual platform. And of course, Instagram is now owned by Facebook. It's been a couple years. Instagram stories, if any of you are in Instagram for personal use, you know this already. Instagram stories are best for businesses looking to engage with potential customers on the platform. And that is because people tend to, even I do it, look at the stories first and then go to the profile. Also, Instagram posts with carousels, so the multi-posts, get the more organic engagement than regular posts. And so if you're going to be using Instagram for your business, you should definitely upgrade to a business profile, because upgrading to a business profile allows you to see the analytics. So you can get, you can see exactly who's following your page, where they're coming from, how they're engaging with the content, very, very similar to Facebook analytics. And you can join your Instagram to your Facebook ad manager and run ads on Facebook and Instagram for the same ad spend. And again, that comes later. Next, we have Twitter. So marketing on really small businesses for Twitter can be very tough, just because you need to make sure that there is enough traffic, constant traffic going on. It can be a great tool for customer service, but because you need to react immediately, I find that a lot of small businesses don't do so well. And so what you should ask yourself before you engage on Twitter is if you actually have the resources to use it the way that it should be used. Then there's Pinterest. Pinterest is definitely an industry, more of an industry niched social media network. So if you're in travel, the restaurant industry, event planning, retail, home decor, event planning, especially weddings, then most likely you will be doing well on Pinterest, because I know I've been a part of several weddings over the past couple of years, and they're entire weddings that are planned on private boards between the client and a wedding planner, because you can say, look, I want my bouquets to look kind of like this, and add different pictures to boards. And if you make it private, then only you and the person that you share it with are able to see what's going on. Okay, Snapchat. Again, if you have young people in your life, fastly growing in terms of target audience, 15 to 25 years old. And again, very visual, very engaging. Also, you would have to have the resources to manage this effectively. So these are just the questions you should be asking yourself. And then, of course, TikTok. 800 million active users worldwide. Um, demographics between the ages of 16 and 24. And to date, TikTok has been downloaded 611 million times, you guys, in India alone, okay? And it's available in 155 countries and in 75 languages. And this is definitely trending younger. So depending on the kind of business you have, you may want to take a stab at TikTok. And then lastly, YouTube. YouTube has become the world's second largest search engine behind Google. And since Google owns YouTube, then I think it's safe to say Google owns the internet. Okay. 82% of Americans report using YouTube, and making it the most popular social media platform in the US, with 2 billion monthly active users. And over 90% of those users say that they've learned about a new brand or product on YouTube. Most popular search term on YouTube is how to. So service or product, if you can make a series of videos that start with how to do whatever, then chances are that they would come up. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to take a really short mini break just to see if anybody has any questions about section 1, and then we will head on to section 2, which is focusing on Google My Business and how to reach customers online. So Galena, do we have any questions? Does anybody have any questions about anything that I've covered in section 1?
I don't have any questions in chat, but
Okay.
please, if you have any questions, either unmute yourself or
Right.
type your question in group chat. So, so far we have only a few people here
Okay. Okay.
from 18 who sign up.
That's
So
fine.
we know that we have technology business, we have craft business, we have local baker.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? We have Andrea. I'm not sure. Could you remind us what business you represent? I think it's marketing, US, and
Yeah.
It's design.
Design. Okay.
Yeah.
Design. Design.
okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Great.
so did we mention everyone? So if there are any, I don't know, suggestions, because it's a small group,
Yeah.
um, I think that probably will be helpful. But what we found from our experience talking to small businesses, and why we decided to have that series, that like in a small business, everyone wears so many
Your
hats.
hats.
And
Right.
a lot of people don't have training how to run
Right.
social media platforms.
Right.
So training and personality, it's also important.
Yes.
Uh,
Absolutely.
we have 2 local colleges in our community.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an opportunity maybe to hire interns. But from my perspective, like where to find somebody who can run your social media, because if you're running your small business and have only a couple people working with you, like
Right.
how you can possibly cover everything.
Yeah, that is always the challenge for a very small business, especially a solopreneur business. And what I usually tell people is that as a business owner, you should attend sessions like this so that you have a general understanding, because too many times people hire somebody and they don't even know if the person is doing the right thing. So the first step is for you to at least understand what should be happening, even if it's just on a bird's eye level. And then at some point you have to outsource this because it is a separate job. Like you can't run your business and manage all your social media profile and all of this stuff. Starting with the website, I think that a lot of people do this backwards, like they worry about social media and everything else and they don't even have a proper website. Start with your website. Many web developers are able to at least set up and start your social media profiles for you. And so that would be a kind of killing two birds with one stone situation where you have the web developer. I work with a lot of web developers who do that. Like they say, listen, I can set up the I can set up the profiles for you. I can brand them. I can make them look nice. I can even develop your email marketing templates. But when it comes to the day-to-day actually doing stuff, they don't do that. They just want to move on. So if you can find a web developer who can at least do that, at least you know that your profiles will be professional looking and they're giving a good first impression. So then the next step and the most critical step would be to find someone who understands the kind of content you should be sharing. I think if you're going to go the route of hiring an intern, if you're going to do an intern from a university, choose the interns who are a little older and who need to do a nice project in order to graduate or something if you're not going to be paying them. And the reason why I say that is because this work, as enjoyable as it can be, it can also become tedious. And so you need somebody with some skin in the game who's going to actually care and do a good job for you. So anytime if people are like, oh, well, I can't really afford to pay anybody, I'm going to go to a local college. And I'm like, always like, choose wisely. Choose somebody who has something to lose if they don't do a good job. In addition to that, there are many programs, and I can share some with you, Galina, that I've used over the years, who train young people and who match them with small business owners, and they pay the interns. So all they need you to do is to give this young person a chance to build a resume or a portfolio. And they pay them, you can have them for up to 20 hours a week. And you give them a specific tasks or whatever, and they can actually manage your social media profiles for you, and they are paid not by you but by the program. However, there's always something. The reason I see why many really small business owners can't take advantage of this service is that you have to have an office location for these young people to come to work to. And so if you're working at your home and stuff, of course, for obvious reasons, for the safety of both of you, they don't allow these young people to like go to somebody's home office. So you would have to have like a WeWork or, someplace where your office is based. But that is also another option that a small business owner can look into in terms of having somebody take this off their plate, because it is a separate function. You can't run your business and maintain your social media profiles and do all of this stuff. So those are just some of the recommendations that I have. But if no one has any more questions, I'd like to move.
Actually, Pitia, Nora
Yes.
has a question.
Okay.
So
Hi.
Nora, you can unmute yourself and ask.
Okay, go
Hi.
ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So I run a bakery and I also teach classes.
Mm-hmm.
I've thought about joining on LinkedIn, but I'm not sure if my services are business to business. So
Well, have you ever catered for a company event?
I have not, but I would really like to get into it, and I would also like to start doing more corporate classes.
So you should. You answered your own question.
Okay.
If you want to, if you want to, that is where you would connect with the office managers or whoever would be hiring you to cater to a company event or something. So there you go.
Okay.
And so your messaging there is a different message though, right? It's not the direct to consumer message. It would be you demonstrating that you're able to handle something like that, as opposed to a birthday party or whatever else. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Got it.
Okay.
You
Okay.
answered it. Thank you.
No problem. And you guys, I don't want us, the next part is a little longer, so I'm going to move on. But remember, you can always shoot me an email if you have anything else that you need to ask, because I don't want us to have to cut the next portion short. Okay, so we're going to move on to reaching your customers online, specifically with Google. And so this part of the presentation is going to be broken up into 3 sections. Again, to keep it simple, I'm going to start by explaining how Google search works. and where different types of information can appear on search results. We talk a little bit about understanding Google's algorithms. Then we're going to go over the Google My Business tool. And then thirdly, we're going to do a really light showing of how you can use smart campaigns with Google Ads. All right, so let's get started. All right, so we're going to start by talking about how Google helps businesses reach their current and future customers. Think about the sheer volume of searches that happen online every day. The number is in the billions, and each and every search is an opportunity for a business to connect with people who are looking for specific information about businesses like you. One of the main things that research data shows is that a lot of people are searching for information about local businesses, such as hours of operation and driving directions. And to get things started, I'm going to ask Galina to play a video for me. Galina, it's the first video, the Micro Moments video, so that we can kind of visualize exactly how this happens in terms of everyday usage of Google and people looking for information in the moment. So Galina, if you can go ahead and share your screen, I'm going to stop sharing mine, and you can play that first video for us, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Galina. That was great. All right, so let me pull my screen back up. So I'm sure all of you can relate to having some kind of similar moment like that happen at some point in time where you needed to find information about something and, you know, just went to your phone and you Googled it and, you know, you had so many options that come up. And so that's what you need to be thinking about in terms of your business and how you can be found, organically by your customers, right? So if we were in person, these presentations are meant to be done in person. I would go around the room and ask people to give examples of moments that they've had like that. But we'll skip that today because I'm sure smaller group, you all have had them. And those moments are true for people all around the world, right? So we no longer just go online. We actually live online. Every day we turn to whatever device that we have and we act on our needs. Now think about this in terms of your potential customers. What are their micro moments? What are their I want to know, I want to go, I want to do, or I want to buy moments in relation to your particular business? Think about the questions people ask when they call your business or stop by your shop. Those are their I want to go, know, do, and buy moments. Rather than focusing on what you want people to know, small business owners, myself included, definitely guilty of this a lot of times, about your products and services, think about what they need, the questions that they will ask you, or the questions that they have asked you. What do they want to know? By doing that, you can leverage micro moments by using them as opportunities to build relationships with people who find your business organically online. Okay. If any of you have made a large purchase within the last year, such as a car or television or a new smartphone, your decision process probably started out something like this. I guarantee you that many of you didn't just go to a store um, and to talk to a clerk about what you should do. Many of the research these days starts online. So, and that's true for most people these days. We go online, we do comparison shopping, we compare prices, and then based on a list of semi-finalists, I know this is what I do, then we decide to engage in person. The takeaway here is that most customers often have lots of information about similar products and services before they contact a business or visit a store. So taking this into consideration, like I said, what hopefully I got over to you guys in the first half is that your digital presence is the new front door of your business. This is this is what everyone sees first, or virtually everyone sees before they interact with you in person, or they come to your store, or they pick up the phone to call. It's important to note that customers may start their shopping journey online, but there's still a lot happening offline. In fact, 85% of all transactions still happen in local stores. Also, research shows that people are more concerned with their need in that micro moment than any particular brand. So even if you're a brand new business, if you come up in a search, then they're most likely to deal with you as opposed to someone who they've already known. To demonstrate this point, I'm going to use a personal example of my own that happened earlier this year. And hopefully this will help to illustrate the point better. So this is my 5-year-old daughter, Soleil. And for those of you who have school-age children, Read Across America Week was observed March 2nd, the week of March 2nd this year. And when you have little kids like Soleil, the teachers ask you to come in and read books to the children throughout the day. So Soleil and I decided that Wednesday, they had different themes for the days, which is interesting. So Wednesday was Wacky Wednesday. And we had decided that I would come in at 2 o'clock on that Wednesday and read Fox in Socks by Dr. Seuss. However, when I picked her up Tuesday afternoon, she was, devastated, like, Mommy, we can't do Fox in the Socks anymore because somebody else's mom read it today. I forgot what the theme for Tuesday was, but they read it before. So of course I'm like rushing home. I have no time to get a book. So the only way I could have gotten the book was the following day on my way to read because I had a busy morning ahead. And so what happened is the following day, I had like about an hour after visiting my bank to, go to her school. And so when I left the bank, I did a search, and it was, I think I said children's bookstore near me on my phone, mobile device, right? And much to my delight, a bookstore came up that was about 3 blocks away and 1 avenue away from the bank's location. I had gone to this bank so many times before, I had no idea there was a children's bookstore around there at all. But again, in my micro moment of need, by using Google, I was able to find this delightful little store that apparently had been there for years. I just never had the need to go in that direction looking for a bookstore. And so, needless to say, all was well that ended well. And with a combination of rainbow hair, a reading of There's a Bird on Your Head, and Mismatched Sneakers, Wacky Wednesday for me and Soleil and her class ended up being a resounding success. So hopefully that helps to illustrate the point of the value of having a robust profile and somebody just finding you by accident or in a moment of need, and how you can gain a new customer, because you bet that I will be going back to that store because I will always remember how I found them. Okay, so moving along, let's take a look at how search works. The first thing to understand is that when you're doing the Google search, you're not actually searching the entire web. You are searching Google's index of the web. So you would think of the web as an ever-growing library filled with billions and billions of books. And think of one of the books as your website. However, there's no card catalog to help you find anything, no central database. On top of that, people aren't merely searching for websites. They want to find specific information inside the sites and the individual pages and the resources. So how in the world do people find anything? This is where search engines like Google come into play. Google's job is to read the book, categorize the pages, and help searchers find the information on those pages. Google finds information on the web by sorting through all those billions of sites and web pages and showing people where to find the answers. So to do that, Google uses software called a web crawler, and you may have heard this referred to also as a spider or a robot or bot. Google's crawler is known as Googlebot, and Google starts with a list of URLs, then it visits these websites looking for new links to add to the index. In addition to any changes that have been made to the websites, the bot also makes record of any dead links. Googlebot follows links from page to page, sending website information back to Google's servers to update the huge index, which in turn ultimately helps searchers to find the web pages. So if you've ever wondered how this all happens, that's how it happens. So then the bot processes each page in the index, taking note of important information from keywords to website freshness, and it stores it in the index. Think of the index like the index of a back of a book, with an entry for every word seen on every page. And as you can imagine, this is huge and ever growing. So every time a person searches Google, the search is looking for information stored and organized within the index. So hopefully that does a little bit to help you to understand how this all works. Okay. Let's take a look at an example of a search results page, and you guys should be very familiar with what this looks like. When someone searches Google, they typically type in a phrase or ask a question describing what they want to find on the web. This is called a search query. Google's job is to show the most relevant information on the search results page so that the searcher finds what they're looking for. As we all know, in today's world, the customer expects to find exactly what they're looking for in the least time possible. 5 seconds. On the screen is a search results page with some additional data entered. The tips in today's workshop are especially relevant to the results you see in the center well of the page, because these are the organic or natural search results. So these are the results that come up without you paying for a campaign. Okay? The information presented about each site in the organic results is called a snippet. So each snippet includes a URL, which you guys should be familiar with, a title page, a page title, I should say, followed by a description. So every listing as it comes up will have a URL, a page title, and a description. Some search results pages also show a business profile on the right side of the page. Incidentally, this information can be managed by the business owner, and this is usually your Google My Business profile. The research results may display relevant ads served by Google product called Google Ads, right? And so this is what you're looking at right here. This illustration points out where images of products can appear at the top of the page, and these are called shopping ads. You may also see text ads with a sticker labeled ad. And again, anything that's in this top well of the page is usually an ad campaign, which is why they show up first. I'll point out one last section on the search results page. At the bottom of the search results page, you will see a list of searches related to the original search that you put into the toolbar. So I actually use this a lot when I'm not really sure how I should craft a keyword search or a question. So I start off with what I think would bring me the best results. And 9 times out of 10, if I look down in this area right here, I will see what other people are searching. And many times using one of their search terms gives me the better result. So you also want to be cognizant of that in terms of the way that you're using keywords and phrases in your content. By knowing these results, it can help you to refine your search and get insight as to how other people are using Google to find information. All right, so if we were meeting in person at this point, we would open our computers and we would actually do a mini exercise. And this is going to, oh no, hold on. We'll do a mini exercise. Oh no, they don't have the slide that shows you. Okay, I'll just tell you. So what the mini exercise would be, and I highly recommend that you do this when you get a copy of the presentation. It would be for you to search for your particular business and see what comes up. Okay, so just put your business name in, use some keyword searches, and then see what comes up. Is your business even showing up? Many times the business doesn't even show up. But if your competition is showing up, then you definitely want to take some time to figure out how they're doing that, how they are actually coming up in searches just based on organic search terms. Okay. Now that we know how we appear across Google search results pages, let's take a look at tips and tools that can help you to address any potential issues that you may be experiencing. This next section dives deeper into ways you can use to help your site appear in various sections on Google using SEO or search engine optimization tips and tools from Google. So Google My Business offers a free business profile on Google. You see this right here. And it displays your critical business information to searchers across Google Search and Maps. And the Maps part is extremely important if you have an actual physical location. Word of caution, Google My Business does not replace a business website, but it can help your profile to stand out in search results and on the map, and in turn send potential customers to your site. Your business profile is automatically optimized for different devices. Remember in the beginning I said your website should do this as well. The business profile does this automatically. And creating a business profile helps you to control details that Google displays, such as your business hours, contact information, store location, photos, videos, and more. And this allows you also to ensure that you're up to date and consistent across search and maps. So many times I've seen businesses not keeping their Google My Business profiles updated. So for example, they moved locations or now they have a second location, excuse me, and yet on the Google My Business profile, they haven't taken the time to update this information. So it's not that the profile isn't coming up, but what it's doing is it's displaying incorrect information. So here are a few specific, relatively non-technical tips that can help your website to appear in organic search results. Regularly publish relevant content that's original, and it should be useful, information-rich, and clear. And I mentioned that in the first section. Include keywords that users would type to find your pages, and make sure that your site actually includes those words. Always lead with your most important information. For example, if your goal is to get people to call your business, keep the phone number prominent. Bulleted lists can help make text more readable. And while there's no rule of thumb, the more frequently you update your website, the more likely it will appear in search engines. And I know that Google definitely rewards websites for fresh content. So you want to make sure that you keep the content as fresh as possible. As you publish content, keep it well organized. When your website content is organized into logical, clearly labeled areas, it helps human visitors to easily find what they're looking for. So you remember in the first section, I referenced UX, user experience. This is what I was talking about. And it helps Google's algorithm to better understand the content of your website for indexing. Every web page should include a title and a description as part of the code, and a good web developer will do this for you. Many content management systems offer the option to enter this text. If you have the option, make sure that all of these elements are descriptive and specific and accurate. Images can have an important influence on the appearance and success of your website. Here are some basic tips for images. Images should be clear and in focus, and they should look right in the overall design of the website. So if everything in your website is kind of like laid out in portrait format, you wouldn't plop an image that's landscape that looks kind of like out of place. And again, these are all things that a good web developer will ensure for you. It's almost always better to use real photos rather than stock photos. And before you add an image that's not your own, please make sure that it's royalty free. There are websites such as Pixabay, that's my favorite website, that you can use to download royalty-free images, and it's spelled Pixabay.com. Make sure you add image descriptions, also known as alt text or alt tags, and this helps Google to understand what the image is about. Think of this like back in the day when we would write someone's name in the back of a picture so we would remember in the future. We don't do that anymore, who the people were in the picture. It's the same concept as labeling your images. This is also important for people who are visually impaired who use text readers. So even if they can't see the picture, the text reader will say, this is a picture of a man holding a delicious cake or something like that. Okay. Lastly, you want to make sure that the size of the image is optimized for the web. And this, of course, can be tricky, but again, it's something that a good web developer can help you to sort out in terms of size. And reason why image size is important is because the probability of bunks on a website increases 32% as the load time goes from 1 to 3 seconds. And it's even tougher on a mobile device. So having pictures that are too large that will take forever, even if they're beautiful, but they'll take forever to download, actually works against you. What happens is that people don't want to wait, so they actually leave the site. So you really have a 1 to 5 second window for your page to actually load before people get tired and they just move on to the next thing. So we want to be careful about that. Here are some free tools that you can use to help your website have a good online presence. Content is important, but make sure your site loads quickly. Optimizing for load time matters because for every second delay, in mobile page load especially, conversions fall by 20%. You can check the speed of your website by trying Google's free Test My Site tool at g.co/testmysite. And the test scores measures mobile speed, or how long it takes for your site to load on the phone. So I would highly recommend that you guys do this to make sure if it's more than 5 seconds, what will happen is that Test My Site will actually send you some recommendations as to how you can speed up the loading time for your page. Another tool that can help your website appear in organic search is called Google Search Console. And Search Console helps you to monitor and maintain your website's presence in Google's organic search results on all devices. So here are some things you can do with Search Console. You can make sure that Google can access your site. You can submit new content, remove content that you don't want to show up in search results anymore. You can monitor your site's problems. And Google Console gives you a bird's eye view as to how the world sees your website. For example, the reports will tell you which queries cause your site to appear in search results, which websites link back to your site, and as well as if your website works well on mobile devices. To wrap up our website tips, let's take a look at a third tool that can help you to find ideas for creating new content. And I mentioned it in the first section as well, it's Google Analytics. And so Google Analytics allows you to begin to understand the strengths and weaknesses of your website. You need to really understand the kinds of visitors that you're getting. So that would be demographical information and what the visitors do or didn't do once they got there. And this is called website analytics data. And Google's free tool, Google Analytics, comes with a suite of huge customizable reports that answers just about every question you would need to know about your website. Like, what are people reading and viewing? How much time do they spend on the site? If it's an e-commerce site, where are people abandoning their shopping carts? Very important for e-commerce business. And if you advertise with Google, that data integrates into your analytics report so you can measure the effectiveness of your campaigns. Google Analytics also helps you to see if your social media presences are working for you, because with your channel report, you'll actually be able to see, if where the traffic is coming from social media. So, and again, all of these tools are free from Google, so you should definitely experiment with them to get the information about your website currently, and also use it to improve the performance. If you're wondering how you can figure out what the popular search terms are for your business, you can do this using Google Trends. Google Trends is a free web-based tool that shows the relative popularity of different search terms on data. The data is presented in a graph on a scale of 0 to 100, with 100 showing peak volume, and you can use it to compare the popularity of different words and phrases, determine seasonality of different searches, and see related searches. With all this information, you'll be able to see the topics, that people are interested in, and create relevant content to publish on your site. And to access this tool, you would go to g.co/trends. All right. And again, when you get this presentation, I highly recommend that you go through this exercise since we can't do it today in person. But it will really give you some great information as to how your business measures up, comparatively speaking, to similar businesses like yours. Okay. All right, and so before we're coming closer to the end of the presentation, but before we move on, does anybody have any questions about search and how the search works and anything that I spoke about in terms of Google and website optimization? You can unmute yourself and ask me. I can only take about 2 questions though, because we're coming down to the wire, but I just want to make sure that nobody is completely confused.
I don't have any questions.
No questions. Perfect. All right, so let's keep going. Home stretch here, you guys. All right, so before we go, we talk a little bit about, we look at the second video actually. Let me just go back and tell you guys what we were going over next. This video will actually demonstrate how a small business called Honest Soul Yoga was able to grow significantly by using Google advertising strategically. And so what they're going to explain to you is how they were able to get in front of their targeted clientele by using smart campaigns, which is what I'm going to walk through next. Okay, Galina, so if you can just, I'll stop sharing. If you can just play the second mini video and we will get on the roll.
Nope. Okay, can you see it? Can you see the screen?
No, not yet. It just says Harrison Public Library.
Okay. I don't know what's happening.
It's not allowing you to share your screen.
Well, let's see. Okay, share screen. Let's see.
There we go. Got it. Perfect.
Okay.
I deployed to Afghanistan in 2007. Being there was the hardest part of my life. My stress level was through the roof. Yoga made me realize that I could be able to handle those stressful moments, that anxiety, and I wanted to share that with the military community. So when I decided to open a yoga studio, it was really important to get as many people as possible through our door, not only to help them, but also because we had to pay our bills. My goal was to get people to call us because we knew if we could talk to them, it would be easier for them to show up and come through our front door. It's actually pretty magical because since we've launched our Google ads, our phone started ringing off the hook. I know my ads are working when more people than normal are walking through the door, when the number of intro offers that we're selling have doubled. And in result, we had to add 10 new classes a week. We had to hire more staff. What I love about Google Ads, it's that when I'm super busy at work, I can just check my phone and I can instantly track my results. As a small business owner, it's bigger than just you. It's about the families you impact, your employees, your own community.
I have somewhere I can let my guard down, and everybody else is here for a common reason.
Everybody that I've met here, and they were looking for something in their life to help them, either physically, emotionally, spiritually.
Our work makes such an impact on so many lives. We're so lucky that we get to do this. I like to say that I started a community center for adults, and we just happen to do yoga here.
Thank you so much. All right, so let me get back to my screen. Thank you so much, Galina. That was great. We make a great team. All right, so, you know, and these are real world examples of how a small business can, first of all, you have to understand the tools, but once you understand them and you have clear-cut goals, you know, having targeted campaigns really does help your business to go. All right, so before we dive into how to set up a campaign, let's review where the ads can appear a little deeply than what we did before. So ads created with smart campaigns can appear on both Google Search Network and Google Display Network. So the search network, which is the first one that you're seeing on the screen, the search network is a group of search-related websites and apps, and your ad can appear when people search for a product or service you promote. The network includes Google.com, Google Maps, Google Play, plus search-related sites that partner with Google to publish ads. The Google Display Network is a large group of websites and apps that show Google ads. And these ads can reach people earlier in their buying cycle. And they usually appear alongside content related to your business. So these ads appear when consumers are looking at content such as browsing websites, watching YouTube videos. I'm sure things are clicking. You're going to start recognizing the ads now. Checking email and Gmail, we're all familiar with that. Or using mobile apps. Ads on the display network can also show images. Your ads may include images from your Google My Business listing. And with smart campaigns, your ads can appear on both the search and display networks, so kind of killing two birds with one stone. Depending on the goals you set, the Google Ads system will automatically determine where to show your ads to give you the best chance of success, which is a nifty little thing that happens. If you're not familiar with what a smart campaign is, it's a campaign type that's designed specifically for a smaller business. They're flexible, so you're allowed to choose your goal and customize your content, and your ads can bring visitors to your website and connect to offline customers by driving phone calls and store visits. So like in the example that we saw with the yoga studio, they learned that they can actually get conversion faster if people spoke to them on the phone. And so the goal for their ad campaign was to get people to actually call them. For your particular business, you will need to know exactly what is the best sort of conversion funnel for you. There's no contract for a smart campaign, no minimum commitment, no startup fee or cancellation fee, and you are totally in control of your ad spend and your ad budget. And with a straightforward setup process, smart campaigns can get your business advertising online in 5 to 10 minutes. Once your ad is set up, Google's smart technology will help you find ways to improve your ads and help you to get better results. This is how you would set up a smart campaign. Start by signing into your Google Ads account, or if you don't have one, you can create one by simply visiting ads.google.com and clicking Start Now. Once you've set up and signed into your Google Ads account, you will be prompted to the first step of creating and using smart campaigns. And here you will be asked to enter your business name and business web address. Next, we will move on to your advertising goals. So in the first example, as we saw, the yoga studio, the advertising goal was to get phone calls. And so that would be the call your business goal. And this would be good for you if you primarily are able to convert customers over the phone, like the yoga studio. Then the second one is to get more physical visits to your location. And if you have a physical location that customers, there's a lot of foot traffic, or customers usually engage first by coming in and looking around, then this would be the goal that you should choose. And then thirdly is taking action on your website. And this would be for us service industry providers, where we may have some sort of lead magnet set up, or a consultation form, or a request more information form. Or if you have the kind of business where most of it is conducted online. So again, depending on the kind of business you have, you would be able to choose the goal that makes the most sense for you. So we're going to use Honest Yoga as our sample client here. And so Honest Yoga wants to drive more foot traffic through their boutique. And so in this example, they're going to select goal number 2, which is visit your physical location. Please note that you can only select one goal per ad. However, if you have more than one goal, you can just create multiple ads for each goal. And this just allows the ads to be a little more targeted without confusing things. So using Honest Sold Yoga as the example, they've decided that they're choosing goal number 2 this time. And so they can now proceed to the next step in setting up their smart campaign. The owner now needs to specify where she wants her ads to appear geographically. When you create an ad, you will see a couple of options for choosing where your ad can appear. The first option, you can specify a radius around the business location, and this is what you guys are seeing here. And in the second option, You can identify a specific area, okay? So as you adjust your geographical range, look at the top corner. Look at the top corner box to see the potential audience size. And so as you adjust things, whether it's by radius or setting up specific areas on the map, you will see your potential audience size. Which option should you choose? It depends on your business. If you're advertising for a business with local clientele, it may make more sense for you to choose radius. If you're advertising for a business that sells products and services beyond a local area, you might decide to expand the audience much further. Again, you know your individual businesses better than everyone. Just be sure to always choose the audience that makes the most sense for your business goals. If Honest Souls Yoga's goal is to drive a shopping rush to their boutique, they may want to start by targeting the immediate radius of the store. They can then experiment with the distance, starting with what they know about their existing customers. For example, they might look at their customer database and determine that most clients live within, say, a 35-mile radius of the studio, and this information can be used to set an effective ad radius. And of course, the owner could always go in and change it and make adjustments based on the performance of the ad. The next step would be to choose a business category and the products and services you want to advertise. This helps the system to understand the customers that you want to reach. And as you can see, they have selected business category, yoga studio. And then as you see, the system is actually recommending additional terms that may make sense, or services that may make sense for them to add. For those of you who are familiar already with online advertising, here's one notable difference with a smart ad campaign. You will not create a list of keywords. Instead, the system will automatically generate search phrases. Because remember, Google is all about search phrases that help determine when your ad should appear. Honest Soul Yoga wants to promote the yoga mat and try to get people to come in and try a class as well. So they're trying to kill two birds with one stone. The system may offer some suggestions, but always be sure to only select the ones that make the most sense for your business. Okay, so as we can see, Honest Souls Yoga campaign is moving along nicely. The owner has chosen a goal, a geographic area, and described what she's advertising. Now it's time to actually create the ad. A text ad on Google typically contains 3 headlines with 30 characters max each, 2 description lines, and a display URL. The display URL would be the web page address that appears with the ad, and you want to be very specific with this. So instead of sending a visitor to your main homepage of the website and having them try to find your booking page or your buy now page or your whatever page, you would want to use a specific URL to the page where you actually want them to land. Because remember, patience is limited these days, 5 seconds and they're gone. So never make the mistake of just using your main website page. And of course, in the ad, it's important to focus on showcasing the most relevant, compelling information so that it's attention grabbing. With smart campaigns, you have the ability to set and fine-tune a budget for each ad. You will set a monthly budget that makes sense for your business, and the cost will vary per click, but you will never pay more than your monthly budget. You only pay for the actual clicks and calls that your ad receives within the budget that you set. For example, if your maximum monthly budget is $300, but you only receive, say, $200 or to $250 worth of clicks, then you'll only be charged that $200 or $250. But the important point is that because you set a budget of $300, you will never be charged more than $300. Google will give you recommended options, but you can always enter your own budget. If you choose to enter your own budget, you'll see an overlay. Drag the slider to select your monthly budget. Below the budget slider, you will see a typical budget range for similar businesses like yourself. And so since this is this is competitive bidding, you really don't want to bid too low based on what the competition is bidding. At the same time, I don't recommend, especially when you're starting out, for you to break your budget. Okay. So after setting up your budget, the final steps will be to review your ad campaign and set up billing if you haven't already done so. Now that you know how to set up a smart campaign in Google Ads, let's take a look at some best practices for optimizing those ads. There are a few more optional features you can add to your smart campaign. One of them, of course, is to add images and logos to it, which I would recommend because it, tells a story of your branding. Adding images to your ad can help to grab the attention of potential customers, and you're allowed up to 3 images. Once you've uploaded your images, you can view how your ad will look in different formats. And this is a cool feature of smart campaigns. After you upload your images, Google's smart technology will create a series of responsive ads for your campaign to test. And this in turn helps you to get better results. The last campaign type we'll cover today is video campaigns. This campaign type lets you show video ads on their own or within other streaming content on YouTube and across the Google Display Network. Showing video ads may seem pretty sophisticated, but the setup is actually straightforward. You can use videos from your own YouTube account, and like other campaign types, you can see ad performance and tweak targeting as you go along. Video ads help to accomplish goals related to sales, generating leads, increasing website traffic, and building brand awareness. There are 5 available video formats, and I'll go through them quickly. In-stream ads, and as I go through them, see if you can kind of think of whether you can identify some of these ads that you've seen. In-stream ads run before, during, or after other videos on YouTube. And after 5 seconds, the viewer can skip them. Video discovery ads appear on YouTube only, and they're seen in places where people discover content. Outstream ads show on partner sites, and these ads are available on mobile devices and tablets. Non-skippable in-stream ads are 15 seconds or less, and as the label suggests, the viewer is unable to skip them. And lastly, bumper ads are designed to increase brand awareness. And the bumper ads are 6 seconds or less, and viewers usually can't skip them. So I'm sure, as I said those, you were able to identify some ads based on your own usage. Okay, so before we do our recap, I'll stop one more time because I know there are usually questions as it relates to the ads. So if anybody has questions, please unmute yourself. If not, then I'll do the recap and I'll let you guys get on with the rest of your day. Any questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
We have very big Japanese community in our town.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to do Google Ads in languages other than English?
As of right now, and I'm glad you're asking me this question because I have 2 of these requests this week that I've had to, dash people's hopes with. As of right now, the presentations are only available in English and Spanish. Earlier this week, I got a request for a presentation to be done in Mandarin, and I had to say we don't have any Mandarin speakers. And so right after this call, I do have a Google team call, and so I can add that. I also got asked for a presentation to be done in Japanese. This is definitely the type of feedback that the Grow with Google team is looking for, because by all means, if there's a need, then they should be able to meet it. If not immediately, but I can ask for you. I'll put that request in for you. But as of right now, the presentations are only available in English and Spanish, unfortunately.
What about ads on Google?
Oh, what do you mean? Oh, you mean the the ads themselves in Japanese? Yes. You know what? Let me double check that for you. They may be, because Google is worldwide, right? I know that there are some language what do you call it? The ability to advertise in different languages. Let me just check specifically on Japanese. But I would say yes, because why not? I thought you were speaking about the presentation because somebody asked me last week if I could have somebody do the presentation in Mandarin, and we couldn't. Okay, let me circle back with you on that, Galina. I'll double check.
Okay, and I just wanted to make sure, like, there is so much information.
Mm-hmm.
What would you recommend our small businesses after we heard your presentation to go back when I record everything and post it on your YouTube and email them your presentation and YouTube link to do what? To watch it again and to do exercises and try to
Absolutely,
pick up?
absolutely. They should definitely watch it. They should definitely, the mini exercises that we were unable to do in person, definitely try to do it themselves. And then if they still don't feel comfortable, Google has many training, mini training videos. They have many mini training resources, and that's actually what I'm going to go over next, that you can actually do on your own to bring yourself up to speed so that you do feel comfortable actually beginning to do this yourself. So I'm going to go ahead because that's exactly what I cover next. All right. So let's recap. To wrap up today's session, this is what I showed you. I showed you different ways to reach customers online. We talked about bringing visibility to your products and services in Google search. And here is a quick recap of exactly what we did. We spoke about creating a search-friendly website with useful information. And hopefully I was able to articulate the importance of having your website load quickly. After this workshop, if you don't already have a free Google My Business profile, I highly recommend that you create one or you claim one. Many times the profile already exists, it just has incorrect information. So all you would have to do as a business owner is select claim this business profile. You will go through a verification process to make sure that you really do own the business. And then from there on, you'll be able to manage the site, okay? And once you get comfortable with all of that, because you know the thing about using an ad campaign is that it exposes you, especially if you're doing a very targeted campaign. So I usually recommend that before anyone starts doing ads, similarly to what I said in Facebook, that you make sure you're comfortable managing your presence, that it's fully updated, because when someone sees an ad about your business, they interact with the ad and then they go looking other places online. So chances are they'll go to the website, they'll go to social media. And so you need to be comfortable with the way those profiles are set up before you begin running ad campaigns. So the steps for me would be to, in terms of people who missed the workshop, or even if you are in the workshop, to review the materials when they're sent to you. If you have any questions, like I said, feel free to shoot me an email. You'll have my contact information. If you still feel like you have, like you need an additional help, by all means, you know, go to the Google resources and do the training courses and the mini videos. Those will definitely help to bring you up to speed. And at that point, you should be able to at least to set up your profiles, to manage them correctly, to make sure you have the right kind of content, and then you will go from there. These are the resources that we went over, Google My Business, with the URLs as to how you'll be able to find them after this class. So we have Google My Business, Test My Site, Google Search Console, Google Analytics, Google Trends, Google Ads, Smart Shopping Campaigns, YouTube advertising. And again, to remind yourself, if you just visit all of these websites, you'll be able to see exactly what these tools do for you and see examples of how other businesses are using them to grow their business. As a recap, Grow with Google is a new initiative to help people prepare for work, find jobs, and grow their businesses. And you can just go to google.com/grow, and here you will have access to all the information you can possibly need, not only information about the tools, but also certification classes that you can take on your own to help you to come up to speed with your online and specifically digital marketing tools. So that officially brings us to the end of today's workshop. This will be the last opportunity to ask me any questions live. If not, again, like I'm saying, feel free to shoot me an email, and Galina, I'll hand it over to you to make any closing announcements, and then I'll leave everyone to get on to the rest of their day.
Okay, Thank you, Pitia. That
very
was
welcome.
a lot of information.
It was. It's information
A lot.
overload.
And it was fast and a lot. And I think that we all feel overwhelmed, but
Yes.
we need to remember that there is no magic trick like you attend our class and you are an expert in social media. It takes
Right.
a lot of work. It takes
Yes.
hands-on experience. So
Always.
thank you, Pitia. I will share presentation and I will post information, recorded our section
Perfect.
link, email it everyone, and you can watch it again. You
Yes.
can follow steps. You can try it on your own. And
Right.
please remember that we will do step-by-step, set up Facebook account and how to make wonderful ads
Yes.
with different company, and we will do Instagram step by step and best practices, and
Right.
another company will also help us to work on graphics. So it's a lot of learning, but you need to do your homework. That's what I'm
Yes, absolutely. It's all hands-on. I mean, even for me, like digital marketing, social media happened after I left school. So even for me, a lot of the learning that happened for me in my business happened hands-on. And you know, it can be intimidating before you start doing it, but you have to start doing it in order to understand it and to get better. So I would, encourage you guys to just start. Just do something, and you'll get better over time.
And our next meeting will be a week from now on Monday
Right.
at 10:30.
Yes,
And we
absolutely.
will
So hopefully I'll see you guys then as well. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and I will see you next Monday.
thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.